Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice. And the Cayman Islands National Museum. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture.
We ask our listeners and viewers to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Live from Radio Cayman Studio.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the Record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
With Orrett Connor.
Informative, impartial, insightful. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is Monday, the 12th day of May 2025, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable weekend. All of you mothers out there, hope you were treated like royalty on Mother's Day yesterday. As well, of course, every day really should be Mother's Day because they are so important in the lives of their offspring, as well as the entire family. So we hope and we trust that everyone had a wonderful Mother's Day and that you were treated with royalty. Those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday, or if you celebrated one over the past few days, a happy belated birthday to you, and to remind you that the For the Record birthday shout-outs brought to you by Coca-Cola, who are proud to support your birthday shout-outs. Coca-Cola available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. You should accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Those of you who have lost loved ones, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing. In particular, this morning, we want to extend our sympathies to the family of Mr. Tony James, who passed away over the weekend as well. Tony, known by many, very, very popular, and certainly will be missed as well. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we want to wish you a speedy recovery. And again, we want to say welcome home, welcome home to our own DJ Lynn and also Mr. Joel Wilson. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and, by extension, For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I'm your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. We have a toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. Also 949-8037, 949-6990. WhatsApp number 925-3261. So before I introduce my guest this morning, let's look at the birthday shout-outs brought to you by Coca-Cola, who are proud to support your birthday shout-outs. Coca-Cola available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. You should accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. And by Yum. Daily school lunch menus are available to browse on the Yum website. Just visit yumcayman.ky for more information. So we see today, the 12th of May, Miss Morna Lawrence is celebrating her birthday. We want to wish her a happy birthday. Also, today we have Yvette McKenzie celebrating a birthday. Yvette McKenzie. I think I saw some more here also. Want to make sure we don't miss anyone. Morna Lawrence. Jennifer Ebanks also celebrating a birthday today. And tomorrow we see Mr. Belika Samamba will be celebrating his birthday tomorrow as well. You heard Billy on Talk Today on Friday afternoon as well. If you know someone who's celebrating a birthday or any other momentous occasion, please pass that information on to us right here on For the Record, and we will give them a big birthday shout out as well. Again, brought to you by Coca-Cola and also by Yum. So, on Friday, I told you as well that Dr. McField and we wanted to concentrate on the election observers report, overseas election observers reports. We wanted to compare their recommendations from 2013 through 2025. Of course, for 2025, we just have their preliminary observations and recommendations, and we wanted to do that. So it is my pleasure to introduce. Of course, he doesn't need any introduction, but to say to you, we have in the studio with us this morning, by popular demand, none other than Dr. Steve McField. Doc, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning to you, Mr. For the Record, and good morning to all your friends and for the Record land and those people in the Cayman diaspora and those who listen to you Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Good to be back with you. I think the last time I saw you was on the election night.
Yes.
Tuesday before the election. We called the election. We were here until 3 o'clock in the morning, from 6 o'clock until 3. And it was very, 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 very good evening, very good night. And the thing that I'm happy about is that we as Caymanians always have a peaceful election. It doesn't matter what the issues are on the platforms and on the writings and during the campaign. We always have a great election, and we always have a peaceful election, and that really reinforces my faith in our electoral system.
Yeah, and we see, I know you talk quite a bit about Canada as well. We see it appears as if the liberals over there getting closer to a majority.
Yes.
There was either a recount or a final count in one of the seats that were held by the Conservatives or the Bloc Québécois. I'm not sure.
In Quebec.
And they won by
one vote.
One vote.
Yes. After a judicial review of the vote, they won by one vote. So I have a sign up in my office. I don't know if you've been there and seen it. It's a sign with Franklin Smith and Roy Borden when they won the election in Bordentown when there were 12 members in the legislature, and it was tie. Each party, the UDP and the other parties had 5 each. And Truman Borden went up there, was persuading him to join them. And he has 2 diamond rings. And Franklin Smith, and this is a cartoon, but by the compass.
Yeah.
Franklin Smith and Roy Borden is in the swinging together, and True is kneeling by the swing with his 2 diamond rings. And the caption says, "Every vote counts." Yeah, so every vote counts.
Yes,
so.
and that's a truism.
Yes,
that
that's
is
a truism.
Yeah, every vote counts.
So it's good to be here. It's good to try to discuss some of these some of these recommendations that the parliamentary, the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association auditors came to audit our election. They made some recommendations, and some of them they've made before, and some of them were made from, as you say, from 2013, and they still continue to make those recommendations. And so, you want to talk about those this morning?
Yeah, we will. We first we have to take a commercial break. And I think we may have a caller on the line as well. We'll take that caller as soon as we return, folks. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Solomon McCherry Ebanks, 1901 through 1990. McCherry Ebanks grew up in West Bay and went to sea at 16. At the age of 26, he became a navigator and from then was known affectionately as Captain McCherry. During World War II, he risked his life and those of his crew to sail between Cayman and Tampa, bringing food and supplies to his countrymen. Captain McCherry was also a turtler, sailing regularly to the Mosquito Keys. When he retired from sea, he established a store in West Bay and became a farmer, raising cattle and ground provisions. He thus supplied the community with fresh beef, fruits and vegetables, and the basic necessities of life. He was married to Louise Editha Ebanks, and they had 8 children. He assisted many people in his community, including his nephews who were orphaned at a young age and raised by Captain McCherry and his wife. He was a man of foresight who saw the need to invest in his island, which he did by purchasing property. During his later years, the sale of some of the property enabled him to maintain an independent livelihood for his wife and himself.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Ready for some real magic this summer? Coca-Cola is giving your family the chance to win a trip to the happiest place on earth, Disney World, Orlando. Just buy any 8-pack of Coca-Cola or Sprite products at participating stores island-wide for your chance to make this summer even more magical. Imagine the laughter, the memories, the adventure, all with an ice-cold Coca-Cola in hand. Coca-Cola, real magic is just a sip away.
Hey Cayman parents, we get it. You're underslept, over-trafficked, you can barely find your sanity in the morning because you're still trying to find your kids' shoes and lunch boxes. Let Yum take some of the stress away. Every day, over 3,000 students enjoy delicious, nutritious meals from Yum. Over 5 million lunches served and counting. Private school parents? Browse the Yum Cayman app and order up to a month in advance or last minute by 12 a.m. the night before. Government school students? Just drop by the Yum canteen. No pre-orders needed. Yum can't help you find your sanity, but we can sure make your mornings just a bit easier. Check out daily menus at myschoolpos.com or visit yumcayman.ky to learn more.
This is For the Record.
Good morning, and welcome back to For the Record. We have about 8 minutes left before we go to our caller very quickly. This listener wants to send happy birthday greetings to Mrs. Janice McLean in the Immigration Grand Cayman. I think Miss McLean is in charge of Passport and Corporate Services. There, I believe that's what it's called. And greetings are coming from her friend Rose Myrie in Cayman Brac, wishing you a blessed day. Love, prayers, and blessings. So happy birthday to Miss Janice McLean. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Connor, and good morning, Dr. McField. MP Bryan here.
Good morning. Good morning.
Sir. I was just calling first off to say I'm so happy to hear Dr. McField back on the radio. I kind of missed him throughout the campaign. His analysis would have been so pertinent to conclusions that we had, but it's gone now. But I was calling because I was hoping that eventually, sometime later this week, an analysis can be done on the recent white paper that was announced this morning by the UK Prime Minister on immigration, which, interestingly enough, is going to have a good reflection for us here in Cayman, as all persons campaigned on immigration reform in our motherland, as they would call it, is doing quite the same. So it'd be good for an analysis for the public. I know you both do such a great job in advising and educating what it means after taking a look at the paper and the report. I'm hoping to be able to be on the show, and I'd love to be joined by Dr. Steve McField, if we possibly can, maybe Friday, to go over it, because it's going to be a key component for the foreseeable future of the Cayman Islands. So, not to take up too much of your time, I just wanted to say that and say, Dr. Steve McField, it's lovely to hear your voice, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, I just skimmed over the new proposals for immigration changes in the UK. and they have drastically overturned most of what they had laid out into the law. One of the problems with changing the law, changing words in a law, does not really solve the problems. It's action that counts, and it seems to me that they are going to implement some new immigration policies that they say are designed to protect the British people from so many people coming into the country. I think that last year they had something like 750,000 people applying for permanent residence in the UK. And we have similar things on a smaller scale. But of course, we hardly do things that are in benefit of the Caymanian people. Mostly we do things that benefit persons. And that's the problem that I find, the difference between us and other jurisdictions who have to grapple with this immigration problem, but because migrants are moving from one place to the other to seek a better life, to have good education for their children, to seek housing and better health care and better salary and so forth. And that's a problem, and that we have to deal with that. That's a practical problem, and we have to deal with that. Whether the government is going to ask me to continue or not, that's a political decision that they will have to make. If they ask me, I'm willing to work with them, with anyone who would like to have my expertise or have my services. I'm happy to work with them because my interest is in the interest of the Caymanian people, even though that's detrimental to opening doors for me. But I'm willing to work. Sure, I would like to come on to discuss that with you on Friday, because I think it's very pertinent and it's very relevant, and maybe we can learn something from what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Correct. And as I close, OC, I just want to say that our discussion wouldn't be one of criticisms for the current administration. Matter of fact, we want to support, and I accept the Premier's open invitation at the swearing in to work together. I'm not here to be a hurdle in the way, but to help support. And if they need help in any way, particularly because they're going to have a brand new member of parliament who's the minister who's going to be in charge of immigration, may find many challenges there and would need as much support as possible. So this is all of our problems together. So it's not one for criticism, but more for analysis. So I understand your point there, but we're here to help the government regardless of what side we're on, because we're working for the people. I'll leave you there, OC. And
I just want to say you asking me about my analysis of the election. I think this election was not about politics per se. This election was more about dignity. This election was about a new model of Caymanian governance. It was about transparency, and it's about a correction of policy that the people wanted, and it was about change. And I think that the polls showed that during this election. That is my analysis of this election. As I say, it was about dignity, it was about legacy, and it's about a new model for Caymanian governance, about transparency and about correction of policy that the people say was not in their best interest.
Well, I do hope it is in the best interest of the country, and we got to work together to get that done.
Certainly.
So much.
Okay, thank you very much. So, Doc, we're going to certainly talk about the observers' recommendation.
Yes.
But before we go there, when we return from the news, we want to talk about the impact of the recent Privy Council decision that cased Attorney General of the Cayman Islands and another appellants, V. Joy Delosa Bure, and another respondent, Zana Mi Waki Jones Hunter, in relation to the points system and how important that decision is, and how can we build on that decision in ensuring that the legislation that we have in place is even more robust and at the same time confirms to that decision that was made there, because it is extremely, extremely important. We're not hearing a whole lot of talk about this decision, but I believe that it is pivotal. But you're much more informed and learned in this area than I am, so I would leave that up to you. So when we return, that may be one of the first things that we want to talk about as well. Folks, we've reached top of the hour. 8 o'clock news. Please stay tuned for The Record with Dr. Steve McField. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time by Foster's is 7:59.
When you're on the go, the experienced team at Foster's Pharmacy are here to help. Drop off your prescription while you shop or WhatsApp us and we'll prepare it, ready for your arrival.
Whether you need prescription or over-the-counter medications, blood glucose testing, or advice on vitamins and supplements, we're here early in the morning to late at night. Both of our locations at our Camana Bay and airport stores are open 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday to Saturday.
For more info, visit fosters.ky/pharmacy. Foster's Pharmacy. Better health because we care.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. The Development Control Board is meeting tomorrow to discuss construction projects in the sister islands. At tomorrow's meeting, the board will consider Scott Development Company's application for after-the-fact excavation on Olivine Kirk Drive in Little Cayman, which is facing several objections, namely due to noise and potential effects on property values for neighboring landowners. The Department of Environment has also flagged that this application has potential to adversely affect a protected area, Tarpon Lake. The DOE has directed conditions should the DCB approve the project, including that any future land clearing, excavation, filling, or development of the quarry shall be subject of a separate consultation with the Planning Department and the National Conservation Council, and that the applicant mark off the approved quarry site, keeping it in place and visible for as long as the quarry is active. This after-the-fact application is for excavation that happened outside of the area previously approved back in 2002. In another matter, the DCB will also discuss an application for clearing the road extending west from Billy's Crescent, also in Little Cayman. The application is for the partial clearing of a parcel adjacent to the Edward Bodden Airfield runway for Little Cayman for use of a private plane. The full agenda is online at planning.ky. Since 2017, Cayman's registered nonprofits have raised more than $300 million, nearly all of that being spent locally. But with that generosity comes the need for governance. So to help local NPOs make sure that their I's are dotted and their T's are crossed, R3 is hosting a symposium on Wednesday jammed packed with information on how to keep your nonprofit organization compliant. R3 board member Sandra Eden Watler tells Radio Cayman the event's agenda will include guest speakers on corporate governance and offer insight on how the NPO regulatory regime impacts the country's overall financial services industry.
We also will have the ministry speaking at the General Registry. So Ms. Laura Aline will be speaking on terrorist financing, which again is one of the focus at this particular time. And we're also going to have a panel discussion, which I think is really good. So we have Mr. Ben Evans, who is a consultant hired by government to deal with this risk assessment we're doing on how we fare and where we stand in terms of terrorist financing. And rounding that out is someone local, Mrs. Nadine Hale, who's had a lot of experience in setting up the NPO law when it was coming in, being in that working group, and is also in compliance herself. So you have some very passionate people.
Again, the event is taking place on Wednesday at Hotel Indigo from 9 until noon. It's another good judgment for the Achievement Center after school inspectors from the Office of Education Standards popped around for a visit. The Achievement Center has been in operation since 1996 and is a purpose-built facility on Shamrock Road in Red Bay. There are currently 6 classes, including infants, pre-kindergarten, and kindergarten, catering to kids 2 years to 5. During the March inspection, there were 74 children on roll. The inspection cycles include one back in 2019 where the school earned a satisfactory judgment, followed by 2 back-to-back good judgments in February 2023 and again this year in March. Leadership promotes shared decision-making, empowers staff through collaboration, and ensures the smooth operation of the setting. Other high marks were received for strong relationships between staff, children, and families that include high-quality resources and engaged spaces to support child-initiated learning. Recommendations going forward are to ensure all children, including those with learning support plans, achieve their learning goals through, quote, targeted, structured, and responsive teaching strategies, to ensure teaching is of, quote, consistently high quality in all contexts, including teacher-led group sessions and during outdoor learning opportunities, and finally, to refine assessment methods to ensure, quote, accuracy, validity, and reliability to support decision-making and meaningful insights into children's progress and learning outcomes. You can find the full report online at oes.gov.ky. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller.
BBC News with Danielle Yawowiecka. China and the United States have agreed to major tariff cuts during talks in Geneva. US tariffs on most Chinese goods will drop to 30%, while China will charge US products 10%. The PKK Kurdish separatist group has announced it's disbanding after a 40-year insurgency in Turkey. The organisation aimed to create an independent Kurdish state. Hamas is about to free the Israeli-American hostage Idan Alexander. His parents and the US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff are travelling to Israel separately for his release. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin are the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Sports. Stay up to date on your sports news with Radio Cayman Monday through Friday at 7 a.m., 6 p.m., and 10 p.m. It's all about sports.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by CG Britcade, where people come first.
We were on the edge of a breakthrough. I knew the substance was extraterrestrial, but I didn't realize.
Aunt Angie, what does this have to do with managing my insurance?
Well, long story long, the entire lab exploded, and the radioactive sludge went everywhere. I ended up in the hospital for a few weeks, but I was able to manage everything with the CG Online portal.
The online portal. Safe, convenient, simple. CG Britcade. Good like that.
Pleasant good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 85 degrees. Relative humidity is 86%. The barometric pressure is 29.99 inches and rising. The wind is east at 6 knots. Overnight low temperature was 80 degrees. Synopses indicate light to moderate easterly winds and slight seas are expected to persist through the next 24 hours as a weak ridge of high pressure remains across the northern Caribbean. Radar images show isolated showers in and around the Cayman area moving west. Now the forecast for the Cayman Islands for today, calling for partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers, and temperatures will rise to the upper 80s with a heat index near 98 degrees Fahrenheit. Your winds will be east to southeast 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Tonight we can expect mainly fair skies with less than a 20% chance of showers, and temperatures will dip to the upper 70s tonight. Your winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. We're presently at a high tide, and the next low tide will be this afternoon at 1:57, and a high tide again tonight at 8:41. The sun will set this evening at 6:50 and will rise tomorrow morning at 5:53. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Monday morning. Or through the morning. And that's the very latest on your weather report. Join us again for the next report at 12 noon.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
The 24th Annual Talent Exposition of the Arts, Joy, is here. Presented by the New Self-Help Foundation, Sunday, June 29th at the Hawkwheel Theatre. Awesome performances by actress Caitlin Tyson, Erica Asai, Rico Rolando, Jade Dixon, Williams Quartet, Dequan Smith, UCCI Dance Company, Cayman Music School, Radiance Dance Studio, Centerpoint Dance Studio, John Gray Elite Strings, Lloyd Barker, Olajimi Lapierre, and more. Tickets cost $15 CI prepaid and $20 at the gate, and available from the #1 shoe shop and Winner's Circle Sports. Talent Exposition of the Arts, Joy, hosted by Anika Connolly and Lloyd Barker, June 29th at the Hawkwheel Theatre. Gates open at 5 p.m. Show starts at 6 p.m. Part proceeds from this event to benefit the Foundation Educational Development Training Program of the Arts.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Good morning. This time we take a look at what's happening on our roads. Further up on Shamrock Road and Rex Crichton Boulevard, traffic is steady but flowing. Further down a different story as traffic is heavy. As you approach the Linford Pearson Highway, traffic is moving on steadily. And on Cool Road heading to Georgetown, slow moving traffic. Coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, moderate flow of traffic, as well as Agnes Way. Slight delays expected. Coming from the West Bay 4-way stop, flowing at a good pace. On the West Bay Road and from the Ritz, traffic is moderate in both directions. Coming off of the Esler Tibbetts Highway, traffic is heavy. And continuing on to Northtown Road in both directions and towards the Industrial Park area, moderate flow of traffic. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue flowing moderately. And if you've seen accidents or incidents, let us know by calling us at 949-6990. Join us again at about 12:15. We'll give you another look at traffic.
Hungry? Need Subway any time of the day?
Yeah.
We've got you covered. Subway at Anderson Square, Centennial Towers, and Countryside Shopping Village is open 24/7, serving up fresh, delicious subs anytime you need them. And for your weekend cravings, West Shore Center is also open 24 hours on Friday nights and until 1 a.m. on Saturdays, because it's never too late for a great meal. Skip the line and order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app, or get your favorites delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Fresh, fast, and always here when you need us. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
The Lions Club of Grand Cayman is proud to continue to serve our island community. During the last Lionistic year, they successfully carried out community projects like the Prostate and Colon Cancer Awareness Campaign, site screenings, spelling bees, swim meets, and their community food pantry. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman looks forward to continuing their service during the 2024-2025 Lionistic year and for many more years to come. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman, where there's a need, there's a lion, serving the community for over 50 years.
Social media, X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Interact with our talk shows on YouTube. Download our official Radio Cayman app, or you can log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky. You can also add us to WhatsApp
on 925-3261.
All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Radio Cayman.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. My pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning, by popular demand, Dr. Steve McField. We are going to look at the parliamentary election observers' reports. But before we go there, we want to talk about a case that has significant implications for the Cayman Islands and the direction that we go as far as permanent residence is concerned. We know that getting a work permit is the first step in the door. If you get a work permit, you reside here for 8 years. By year 9, you can apply for permanent residency. If you obtain permanent residency, then you're on your way to possibly, a strong percentage that you will get Caymanian status, as well. And basically, that's it afterwards. So the whole idea of permanent residence and how we handle those applications is critical. Although we know that it goes back even further than that, the way that we deal with work permits and how long we allow persons to live and work in the Cayman Islands before they need to either roll over or something else happens is important as well. So we have this case, the Attorney General of the Cayman Islands and another appellant, V. Joy de Losa Bury, and another respondents, and Zana Mi Waki Jones Hunter. And just a brief history of the case. The respondents issued claims in the Grand Court which were consolidated. Grand Court dismissed the claim, rejecting the submission that the statutory point system was incompatible with Section 9 of the Bill of Rights. The Court of Appeal dismissed the appeal but made a declaration of incompatibility. And the Court of Appeal then granted the appellant leave to appeal against the decision to the board of the Privy Council. Doc?
Yes, and when the appeal come out, you remember, I was conducting a review of the point system for the government, and it was there. The case came out, and I from this seat where I'm sitting on, and before this mic that I'm having, I think it's the same mic, I kept saying that the Attorney General cannot allow that case to go by the way it is. He has to appeal that case. He has to appeal that case to the Privy Council. He cannot allow the Court of Appeal to say that the immigration law is incompatible with the Constitution. The Privy Council, the Attorney General did appeal the case, and it went before the Privy Council. And the Privy Council upheld the Grand Court decision that the applicants did not obtain enough points to obtain permanent residence, and they say that the point system was the way to obtain residence in the Cayman Islands, and it says that the Court of Appeal was wrong to make a declaration to say that the immigration law was incompatible with the Constitution, because that was not before it. They made it after they had found that the applicants did not have a good case, that the immigration decision was right not to grant them permanent residence because they had not obtained 110 points. They went on to make a declaration to say that the Court of Appeal that the law was incompatible, and the Privy Council say that they had no right to do that because that was not before them, and that courts have no right to make law or to change law. That is for the legislature. That is for Parliament to do. And I was so happy that they vindicated the immigration boards and the Immigration Appeal Tribunal in the decision that they made, because that would have opened the floodgates. But that's not all. I brought you something this morning that I would like to share with your audience.
Go right ahead. Doc.
Something that came up just lately, and it is a problem that we have to deal with. And it's also about ordinary residents in the Cayman Islands, and you would be familiar with that term. And it's in Section 2 of the Immigration Transition Act, 2021, and it says here that, let me just find it. Legal and ordinary residence means a person uninterrupted, voluntarily, physically present in the Cayman Islands for a period of time without legal impediment other than a tourist visitor or transit passenger, during which period the islands are regarded as that person's normal place of abode for the time being. And when you go to what it says with what a tourist is, just let me find out for it. It says, tourists means a person arriving in the Cayman Islands for a visit of not more than 6 months duration. And listen to this, otherwise than for a professional, financial, trade, or business purpose, or for the purpose of seeking or engaging in employment. It means that if you came for a professional, financial, trade, or business, or if you came to seek or engage in employment, that you're not a tourist, that you're ordinary residents in the Cayman Islands, and we have a problem now with that. And that should come to the attention of the officials as soon as possible, and that needs to be rectified. This section here needs to be clarified, and it needs to be rewritten soon.
Can you repeat that for the benefit of some of our audience again, Doc?
Tourist visitor means a person arriving in the Cayman Islands for a visit of not more than 6 months duration, otherwise than for a professional, financial, trade, or business purposes, or for the purpose of seeking or engaging in employment. So if you came here to seek or engage in employment,
you're not considered
being a tourist. That you're ordinary residents here, and you can use that then to count the days that on your time for permanent residence. And that is a terrible thing here, that we have a problem now with that right now.
Why would we want to have that in the legislation?
Well,
to
it needs
people?
it needs to be fixed immediately, and I'm calling on the powers that be, the people who are interested, to look at this particular section and to fix this before it now goes before a court. And we have to spend money to fix it again, like we had to do with the Privy Council with fixing the Court of Appeal decision on a declaration saying that the immigration law was incompatible with the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
So if you come here to seek employment, you're ordinary residents in Cayman Islands. So that's what that means, which is sort of ridiculous.
Now, what they were basically trying to do is say, like you said earlier, that the time that they spent here prior to obtaining anything, once their intentions were
to seek employment,
right? To seek employment, that counts.
Exactly.
Wow.
And meantime, there's also a section that says that when you enter, you have to give a declaration of where you came.
Mm-hmm.
The contradiction is then when you look at the passport, stamp in your passport, it says you should not seek or solicit employment during the time that you are here.
Yeah, but we don't, for some reason, Doc, we don't seem to enforce that anymore. We don't insist on that, and as a result of that, we have basically butchered the whole temporary work permit situation, where a person comes here and then they can apply for a temporary work permit while here as a tourist as well.
Well, that's going to lead up when there are some people now in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th year of their residence before the rollover comes in 8 years, between 8th and 9th year. They will have the right to apply for permanent residence, and they can count the time that they have been here now seeking employment as time on their stuff if this stuff is not rectified.
Okay, there are some persons who advocate for the implementation of a policy where permanent residence would only be offered to one, persons with Caymanian connections, close Caymanian connections, very close family connections, or for those persons who have the ability to reside in the Cayman Islands without having to work and without being a burden on the government's coffers in any way, which means basically permanent residence for the wealthy. And all that would be offered would be permanent residence, and you remove the ability to apply for Caymanian status on grounds of residency and restrict it only again to descent or marriage.
Yeah, there's talk about that. I can't say whether I agree with that, yes or no, because remember now, I am still.
Oh yes, that's true.
I am still the chair. I am still the chairman of the Immigration Appeal Tribunal, so I can't say whether they are right or whether that's wrong. I have to deal with matters that come before me, and I have to obey the rules of natural justice. I have to be unbiased and so forth. But there is talk about restricting residence to only descent and marriage. But I can't go any further than that, because that would then put me in a position where people would say, well, I shouldn't be chairing the board anymore if I jump into whether that's right or whether that's wrong. Because as chairman of the Immigration Tribunal, I cannot make law.
Right.
I cannot make the law. I interpret the law when it's made and it comes before the tribunal, but I cannot make law, so I can't get into that discussion really.
Okay. Can I come to you now, Ms. Susan, for the break? Okay, we still have 2 minutes left. So what we're going to look at, so that we don't have you conflicted in what we say, what we talk about, and of course your opinion really is sought in relation to it on the immigration issues. We want to switch over then to the election observers report. Now, first, if we go to the their preliminary statement that they made, they were certainly extremely complimentary about the process that we have in Cayman, while at the same time making some keen observations. They didn't really make any recommendations yet. They did give an executive summary, and then they spoke about the political background in the Cayman Islands, the legal framework under which we operate, and then go on to explain the electoral system, talk about referendums as well, and that is one in terms of referendum that is very important. One that you certainly involved in, and not sure whether or not you would be conflicted in this one at this point in time, the boundary delimitation.
Oh, yes.
That was extremely important as well. So we're going to take the commercial break. When we return, we will start to talk about the preliminary statement made by the Election Observer Mission to the Cayman Islands in April of this year, the CPA-BIMR report. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite Band-Aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. Don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Cayman Art Week is back from Tuesday the 20th to Sunday the 25th of May. It's a fun-filled program of art events, pop-up exhibitions, open studios, and late opening hours at galleries and venues across all 3 Cayman Islands. Visit at your own pace or join one of our district bus tours with a new route added this year in Cayman Brac. All events are free and open to the public with art on sale for every budget. For all the latest, visit CaymanArtWeek.com.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Dr. Steve McField is in the studio with me. So let's pick from the Observers report. Oh, we do have a caller. Let's grab the caller first. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Let me, just not no threat, OC, but in future, whenever you call me as an agent of your special guest, something will be in effect called tariff, something like that. Tariff, that's Trump's term. The tariff, that will kick in. Okay? You know how long I've been on, and you've been willfully ignoring my call. It seems like you have to be elected to get on.
Yes.
Didn't know you were there.
Okay. I do not want you all to engage me in any dialogue because I might lose my sense of thought. I want to say what I want to say, then you all can rebut.
Fair enough.
Concerning the election observers, why do we have or we need election observers to come to Cayman? I haven't heard about any fraud in the past, any violence, threatening violence, or anything to go with to disrupt our elections. And I understand from the Mall Road, not that, you know the Mall Road I'm talking about, that, I mean, mostly asphalt now, but, you know.
The real Mall Road.
Yeah, or old Mall Road. That, we had such a great, election turnout, election peaceful. Even to Dr. McField made reference to it this morning. So why do we need them to come here? And then they're going to, the recommendations that they're putting out there, I don't think it's in the best interest of us indigenous people, the things that they want us to change. The only thing that I would agree with, if they say we go back to the old system of voting, or give Lord Graham an opportunity to vote for 19 people. Okay? All right, that's that. Let's jump on this now. I'm only talking about things I'm talking about this morning. Residents now and all this kind of thing. I do agree, OC, with removing permanent residence status and just leave descent and extend it to great-grandchild instead of grandchild. And I would not go as far as say spouse, right? I would, give them residence with permission, with rights to work. You don't need no more than that. Stay with your husband all your life, stay with your wife all your life, and she can work and she can stay here once she's had good behavior. Okay? And that is it. Period. That's it for that. And the quicker we can do that now, the better off, because do you know how much people in the pipeline now just waiting to reach that 9 years or that 8 years, whatever. We implement it now, and then we give you 3 months, 6 months to pack up, okay? Because you didn't need that amount of time to leave your hometown to come here. The day that they told you that your permit was approved, you on the flight the next day. So now going back to where you come from, we're giving you 3 or 4 months to pack up and you got to go. Okay? That is that. I can tell you a story now because I think we're too legit and we're too easy to accommodate people's wishes. I think also you told me is what expectation. Their expectation. I expect a lot of things that they're not materializing, okay? So don't come talking to me also about expectation. All right? I have 2 kids. One is 24 now, and one is 17, going on 18. In what we like to make reference to as third world country. I've been trying for a long time to get residents of that country. They will give me the run around. They tell me marriage. Then they come back and say, no, do it through your kids because kids are more permanent in your life. They do that. Every piece of paper they ask me for, I have to pay $150 to get an apostle stamp on it because it's an international document, right? And it's still pending. They ask me $1 million. I got to jump through hoops. I got to do all kind of things before they will allow me to be a resident in their country. But yet you can come here, take a job from a Caymanian, because the Constitution say all jobs in Cayman is for Caymanian, in case on the Constitution, and stay here, and then demand that you get the same rights that me, 1796, have. And if we don't approve it, you take us to tribunal, Grand Court, Appeal Court, and then we got to go all the way to Privy Council? Really? And you don't, we know you don't qualify, but you still do those kind of things? So we have to draw the line now. We have to draw the line. Enough. What the slogan was saying? Enough is enough. Okay? So that's my thing. That's what I wanted to say this morning, so you all can elaborate now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Lord Graham. Well, I'll start with the election observer. And when the then governor before the 2013 elections approached the elections office, about it, at first I was skeptical, as well, because I wasn't really that familiar with election observers, and my first reaction and the first conclusion that I drew to it was, we must be doing something wrong. Why do they want to come? I'll use this analogy, Doc. You don't wait until you're sick, or you shouldn't wait until you're sick before you go to see your doctor, right? You go to continue to monitor your health to make sure that everything is going well. And we don't hear a whole lot about it, but even in the United States of America, during their elections, they have observers.
Yes,
they have
yes.
international observers, as well. So it gives them an opportunity to look at what we're doing, to hear it from someone else rather than, ourselves. That saying, self-praise is no praise, or self-praise brings no recommendation.
That's right. That's right.
As well. So that was the view that I took in relation to that. Your thoughts on that, Doc?
And you're right because some of the first things they said. The election campaign was vibrant, competitive, and peaceful. Parties and candidates held area meetings and rallies and put up signs and billboards across the island. A range of media outlets was used to promote campaign messaging, from more traditional outlets in radio and newspaper content to social media activity. Campaign financing was one of the most frequent issues raised with the mission. And then they went on to say that so many times in their report that that the campaign was peaceful and without violence, and it bears out the fact that not only we say that we are a peaceful people, but the whole world knows now that we are a peaceful people and that we are a good people and that we are not prone to violence against each other like they did like they do in other jurisdictions. And I am happy with that recommendation from them. And you see, what Lord Graham seems to not agree with is that all countries have observers mostly in their campaigns, to make sure that they abide, that they make sure that that everybody else believes that they are abiding by the international standards of for elections, and that is what they have said since they have been coming here, that we have always abided by the international standards of elections, so that is one thing that's plus. That's a plus, and then and I hope that they keep coming back, because they will never find us in a violent position. Although we might say hard things about each other in the platforms, but when it comes to action, we all try to stick together as much as we can.
Yep.
So I mean, I'm saying that because I don't want to go into to show to show any bias at all against anyone.
Precisely. Miss Susan, we have a caller on hold as well, I believe. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, our caller, just hang in there. Quick commercial break. When we return, we will take your call. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Attention Georgetown residents. The Department of Environmental Health Georgetown Bulk Waste Collection will take place between May 12th to 17th. This bulk waste collection will replace the traditional year-end collection. Household appliances, furniture, and other items too large to be handled by the weekly DEH collection crews should be placed by the roadside where it's easily accessible to the DEH collection crews. Metals and vegetation should also be separated from other bulk items. Do not obstruct roadway or storm drains or place tires, construction or demolition waste, hazardous materials, or electronics. For more information on the Georgetown Bulk Waste Collection from May 12 to 17, please contact the DEH's Solid Waste Management Section at 949-6996.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have a few callers on hold. Before we go to the callers, we have a birthday shout out here. Happy birthday greetings for Dr. Ronaldo Goff. Greetings coming from your mother, Gwendoly, your brothers, sisters, your wife, your daughter, your grandparents, Mr. Dallas and Mrs. Lee family. Hope you have a wonderful day and may you live to see many more. Thank God for all his blessings on you. So, Dr. Ronaldo Goff, happy birthday greetings coming to you as well. Let's grab our first caller. Good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Oshi.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Steve.
Good morning, ma'am.
You guys had a peaceful weekend, or at least a safe one.
Yes.
Thank you.
I can be the devil's advocate this morning. I hope they don't crucify me, but maybe I'll open some eyes, maybe I'll shut some down if they won't put it down. I want to comment on Lord Graham's questions that he asked. He sure asked some good questions, and I was sure he was looking for some good answers. Hopefully he got some if he thinks was right. If not, he had to take mine now and see if he can look into it. Maybe he wait out and see. He asked the question, why do we have observers come in our election? As we say, or the elections office said it was a peaceful. Thank God we didn't have no riots. We are very, very passionate, very peaceful. But I want to open a light, and I say, I hope I don't get crucified. But number one, I don't know if you've seen the, I think it was the day after election, the Thursday after the election, there was a mystery box showed up at Prospect. I can send it to you on WhatsApp, and for those that didn't see it,
empty. Let's clarify. It was an empty ballot box, and we received an explanation as to why that was the case.
Empty box.
No, but okay. This is why I want to clarify. This is why I'm questioning. First of all, did we have two number one boxes in Prospect? Because it says box number one. Did we have two number one boxes that? Did the election office take a box back to number one? Why is that number one extra box with no ballot sitting in where it was found? But they said it was empty. I never seen it showing them that they could say
Caller, unless you have evidence, otherwise I would ask you to please steer clear of that, because we really don't want to to create any mischief or any doubts in people's mind. It has already been clarified
that the election was not fair and transparent.
Well, I differ a bit, but all I was saying that they were saying that we were transparent and everything, but how could an empty box end up somewhere with the same number as a number one of that district? That we're gonna leave that for the people to look into it if they want to look into it.
It has already been looked into. Yes. The observer mission has already commented on it as well.
Okay, that's number one. Number two, Graham is right. He said we got cases where and I want to give Mr. O.C. a great job. He did well as an immigration officer. I want to congratulate him because he was on his P's and his Q's. We had many incidences of different cases, and he did his job to the best of his ability. I want to congratulate him publicly. We before, like you said, if somebody was turned down or whatever, they would give it a certain amount of time. I don't know how they changed up the law now. I know someone that was married to a foreigner has been divorced 3 years. This year will be 4 years, and she's still sitting on her husband's as a PR resident in Cayman. So we do have a problem. Nobody, if you are whatever, you need to be clarified right away as soon as your settlement, whatever, whether you found divorce or whatever, you need to go back to your residence where you was before you got married, if that's how the law is, because there shouldn't be nobody sitting on a PR for no Caymanian that married a Caymanian after 1 year must less 4. So we need to fix our laws that we deal with it right away, and I hope that heirs to be that listening would look into these matters, and that's just one that I know about, and I know you probably got a lot more. So that, and yes, Lord Graham, you're right. We need more accountability and more action. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you very much,
Thank
caller.
you.
Let's grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Connor. Good morning, Dr. McField.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning. Good morning.
Good. Just want to agree with my good friend, Lord Graham, on a number of things regarding the election observers, but specifically what I want to comment on is there's a portion of the statement of the report from the international observers that spoke to the sentiments of it would have been difficult for persons living here for a while to be able to vote, and basically talking about the process of becoming Caymanian. I thought that portion of the statement was egregious, and no lesser word or adjective can describe it, and here's why. Their mandate, their mission here is to observe and report, make a statement on the elections. Such a statement deals with our immigration policy. And no part of their mandate or their job.
Are we sure that
Yeah,
is their mandate? Are we
yes.
certain that specifically is their mandate?
Well, unless you can find a part of their mandate that says, make comments or recommendations on the Cayman Islands' Immigration Policy and Immigration Act as revised, I will withdraw it.
Well, I think they were looking at the whole electoral system, which includes the qualifications for candidates, qualifications of voters, the entire system.
No, but you're here to monitor an election based on the laws that exist.
Yeah.
You're not.
Yes.
And the Constitution exists.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It currently exists. And that is what you are here to monitor, that those laws and regulations are followed.
Okay, we'll have to agree to disagree on this one. Go ahead, continue.
So the part of it is that basically we cannot allow observers to come here and step outside of the boundaries of what their mission is. So I would hope for two things. One is, OC, between you and Dr. McField, that unless we find something that gave them somewhat mandate, that it would be reported and discussed. And if it is found that it isn't, and I'm telling you, you won't find that it is. Because basically, when you're sent to observe and to report on something, it is with what exists. So basically, when you don't find it, I would hope that, this is something that it is made known. We don't appreciate persons who come in here for job A to basically then extend and take it upon themselves to try to have some kind of influence or interference with our election, with our immigration policies and laws. And I'm kind of surprised that there wasn't a larger outcry to that effect. Secondly, and finally, we'll see when regarding the comment of, don't wait until you're sick to go to the doctor. I think Lord Graham and my own position is right on that as well, meaning that if you are in very good health, that means that you've been doing the right thing. And that you can basically then be on a good course by following what you have been doing. So the fact of saying we should have them in here, before we discover things going wrong, is probably not the right path. It's not a bigger to have them in, but I'm just saying that it is something where we got a stellar record. That means we have been doing the right thing, and we know how to do the right thing. So there wouldn't be any urgency to put any great credit on having international observers in. I don't mind them. But if you come for what you are charged to do. Don't start to interfere with our policy. And you won't find it in there, OC, as much as you search. And there needs to be discussion on that part of the statement.
Did you watch the press briefing that they had as well, where there were certain questions that were asked of them, and they basically deferred on it because they said those are issues for the government to deal with and internal issues that they refuse to get involved in?
I watched it, and this is what makes the statement so egregious. The things that they deferred on shows that they consciously then put this in the statement. That's what makes it egregious. They were conscious of things that they should not have dealt with and that it was our legislators and for the country to deal with, but they cherry-picked out this particular thing just to make comment on what it takes to qualify for Caymanian and obviously the right to vote.
And do you recall the specific paragraph in their preliminary report where that is?
I'm driving to a meeting, OC, so I wouldn't pretend to be able. I wouldn't pretend to be able to do that.
I'll find it.
Well, sir, one of the things that they said about the right to vote, Caymanian citizens aged 21 years and above, domicile and residence in the jurisdiction, are entitled to contest the election for Parliament. The residence requirements are quite onerous. Caymanians born in the territory must have resided in the jurisdiction for at least 7 years prior to nomination day, while those born elsewhere without Caymanian antecedents must have resided in the Cayman for at least 15 of the preceding 20 years. No candidate may have been abroad for more than 400 days in the 7 years immediately before nomination. These are arguably unreasonable restrictions on the right to stand for election. I understand what they're saying, that Caymanians shouldn't have to be within the jurisdiction for the last 7 years before election day to be able to vote.
In their own country.
In their own country. That's what they're saying. And although Caymanians can't be abroad for more than 400 days, the Constitution has, I think, 5 exemptions to that. If you are attending a university higher learning, if you are a patient at a hospital, if you are working on a ship or in an airplane, or if you are working into Her Majesty's services, that exempts you. But then it says no candidate may have been abroad for more, and then it says there are have resided in the Cayman Islands for at least 15 without Caymanian antecedents must have resided in the Cayman Islands for 15 years. Yes. Because before they can stand for election. That is something that I think that we need to examine. We need to have as you say, and I agree with you, that we need to have a good debate about that, because that is going to change the whole. That is going to change the whole electoral system in Cayman if people from abroad can just come in and vote, even after 15 years. But it's something that we are going to have to look at, because there is clamor from the UK Parliament about that UK people have the right to stand for election, and that is not going to go away. Right. And I would say that our government needs to have a public debate about that, because that is going to come up today, it's going to come up tomorrow, and it's going to come up the next time that the observers come or have a new election too.
Exactly. We want to thank the caller as well. We have to go to our headline news. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
It's another good judgment for the Achievement Center after school inspectors from the Office of Education Standards visited recently. You can find the full report online at oes.gov.ky. U.S. markets have surged after the U.S. and China agreed to reduce tariffs on each other's goods for 90 days. Meanwhile, global stocks have also risen after the major agreement between Washington and Beijing, a major de-escalation of their trade war. U.S. tariffs on Chinese imports will fall from 145% to 30%, while Chinese tariffs on U.S. goods will fall from 125% to 10%. The first group of 49 white South Africans are to be granted refugee status by President Donald Trump's administration and are due to arrive shortly in the U.S. On Sunday, they boarded a flight from Johannesburg, which is due to land in Washington, D.C. later today. Relations between South Africa and the U.S. have been tense for months after an executive order in February in which President Trump stated that Afrikaners were victims of, quote, racial discrimination. Those are your headlines. I'm Carsley Fuller.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We still have two callers on hold. Let's go to the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record. Okay, let's grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning. In relation. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. We're hearing you. Go right ahead.
Oh, yes. In relation to the scene comment, the gentleman spoke earlier about the observers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't vote where I currently reside. The reason I can't is because I am not a citizen. I'm permanent resident. There's nowhere in the world that is allowed other than that. You have to be a citizen. And there are exemptions, as we have in our Constitution, i.e. you're studying abroad, you're sick, you're on a ship, you're in a plane, and I think there's another one. I think there's 5. But anyway, my point is, we have enough of undue foreign influence in our society, enough. And the one thing that we hold, the only thing that Caymanians, and when I say Caymanians, I mean people of blood in the soil. Blood in the soil means I was born here. I can trace my generations back to the 1800s. My grand aunt, whom my mom is named after, Grace Azelda Ebanks, is buried in Bonacca. Her tombstone is shown in the book Tom Creighton's He Had Founded It Upon the Seas. We have Caymanians in Cuba, Isle of Pines. Why? Because Caymanians moved away for work. We come from Watland Daub, hut, sand floor, plant and trash mattress and plant and trash pillows, outside utilities, and a caboose. We're not coming from what others who have just returned, who have just found out about us, and we have been here for years. They don't know nothing about what this country was. They read about it, but you cannot be like me. You can't. You cannot be like me. I was from here. I am from here. And the one little item that Caymanians hold is that vote. And the day that we allow what those observers recommended, we can kiss this 3 little rocks goodbye. Because it's just mind-boggling. And I've said that over and over, and I know a few of the ones that I've spoken to. I can see by the way that they respond that they don't grasp it, or they don't think of it the way that I think of it. Every governor that we've ever had on our soil has come with an agenda. And it's no different with the election observers. And I agree with the 2 gentlemen that is beyond their remit. They had no business. They stirred the ants' nest. I'm glad that they stirred the ants' nest, because now it means that we can finally got one subject that we agree on. One, and that is that if you are going to vote here, you have to be of the soil or Cayman status, not a PR, not a work permit holder or anybody else at England. I want to ask the observers, and that's what I want you guys to just think about for a second. Can you, as a Caymanian, you, Mr. McField, as an attorney, you, Mr. Orrett, who held the highest positions in some of government departments, you were head of immigration. I served with you, and then you went as the job that Sam has, Samuel Rose.
Cabinet Secretary.
And Cabinet Secretary. Now, can you take yourselves and go to England and vote in any of their elections? No, you can't. No, you cannot. You know why? Because you're not from there and you have no permission to vote there. But yet they come to Cayman, and that's what I'm saying. The observers have now shown that they are just like the governors. Every governor comes with an agenda. Helen Kilpatrick's was quite obvious because Mr. Roper afterwards completed it, and we should have looked, and we never bothered to look at what the stir came about.
Caller, if I could interrupt you for a second, please. Here's a paragraph from their preliminary statement, right? The mission conducted an independent assessment of the Cayman Islands general elections against international legal standards, commitments, and obligation, as well as domestic laws. The mission is independent in its composition, findings, and conclusions, adhering to the Declaration of Principles for International Election Observation and the Code of Conduct for International Election Observers. They look at the laws, they look at the system, they compare them against international standards and codes of conduct, and they make recommendations. They are only recommendations. We can choose to accept them or we can choose not to accept them. In most instances, we have not accepted them, not because they are incorrect, but simply for political and other reasons. So, again, this really discreditation of the election observers, I'm not sure where it's coming from.
It's
if you understand their role,
it's understandable, but it's unfounded because they have not said that we have to do this or that we have to do that. They say this is what they found, and the fact is, I'll tell you, caller, the Caymanians are not going to allow people who are not Caymanians to vote and to get elected in their legislature. That's not going to happen. I mean, it might happen. It might happen. But it will happen.
What happened in my time? If I have anything to do with it,
it might happen if the British government pass an order in council directing us to do that, and I think that Caymanians will fight against that too.
Yeah. That would be the red line.
Point, though. How much? My point is, of all the recommendations, and I refer again, as I said, to the agendas of our governors. How much of that has been shoved down our throat, even though we said no? And that is my issue.
Ma'am.
They had. Can I finish, please?
Yes.
My point is, sir, that yes, I do not disagree that Caymanians will fight against it. But remember, we also had a gallows made in the day of it being used. Mrs. Queen killed it. And that is my point. They've opened a can of worms because that is the agenda.
It goes with the territory as long as you're part of the United Kingdom.
It's what we would have been preaching to you all along. It goes with what you are. And it goes with what you are. And if you don't want that to happen to you, there's a way out.
Yep.
There's a way out, and we have been saying it all along. There's a way out. And remember, ma'am, Caymanians were not born behind. We were not born behind other people. We, they can come and they can say what they want to say, but we were not born behind. And, you raise a fundamental point that I have been living all my life. In fact, I have, I have been. At one time, I was banned from coming back to my own country because of what you have raised, and many other Caymanians have gone down in history. Have gone down in history also.
I don't know nothing about that.
People like Mr.
My point is, sir, I don't.
People like.
My point is, sir, I don't know. I didn't know nothing about you being banned from coming back to your country.
Well,
I've never heard of that. And Caymanians, just like any other foreign state, you can't refute. You can refute. You that is your home. They have a right. You have a right to your home, and I don't agree. If that was something that occurred and happened to you, I apologize. I sincerely.
You don't have to apologize for me. I can fight my own. I have fought my own battles, but I am saying to you, when you take that road, when you go down that road, that's what will happen to you. That is the results that would happen to you. It only happened to me, but it happened to people like O.L. Panton, one of the national heroes here. It happened to him too, and many other people. So if you don't want the observers to come, and if you don't want them to make these recommendations, and if you don't want them to have these comments, there's a way out.
Okay, I want to thank that caller as well. We do have to go to a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly. We do have another caller on hold. We will take that caller as soon as we return.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite band-aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. Don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by CG Britke. Insurance, health, pensions, life, where people come first.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We want to thank all of the callers who have called in so far. Very robust discussion, and it's only a discussion as at the end of the day. And it is always good to welcome other viewpoints as well. If we all agree on something,
exactly,
then,
exactly, yes.
Yep. Let's grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, gentlemen. MP Bryan here.
Yes.
So interesting how life works, because I was the caller right before her, but I had to take a call from the leader of opposition. But I was calling about exactly the same thing. And the Lord allowed me to hear her viewpoint, because I think I agree with her wholeheartedly. I think the point that she was trying to make, it's an insult. It's an insult by the observers to suggest such a thing, knowing immigration has been such a sensitive matter throughout the campaign, and they would have watched that. They would also have known that this has been a recommendation from the previous two observing bodies that have come here. So the fact that our Constitution allows us to protect ourselves from an immigration perspective, and for them to continue to recommend it, is insulting. That's how I felt. I felt exactly how she felt and the previous caller before that. Now, if they're suggesting, I think OCU did a very good job by reading out the details based on convention, based on code of conduct, an international obligation. Now, unless they're suggesting that we are breaching international obligations in respect to voting rights of overseas territory citizens, then say that so we can challenge it and deal with our relationship with the United Kingdom. But if we're not, then don't bring it up, because it's not necessary for you to interfere into who we believe should be voting in this country. It's our laws, the Caymanian people law, and for them to continue to do that, I feel the insult that she felt. And I think many Caymanians also felt. And the question earlier with Lord Graham in respect to saying, why do we need them? It's situations like that when they bring up those types of topics, go, why are you here? Because now we don't have a history of violence. It's good to have an international observer say, it was nice and fair and calm and clean. That's great. But if you're also going to come here and upset our emotion in respect to something very sensitive without a legal position, then why are you bringing it up constantly? I can understand how she feels. So unless you're legally saying from an international perspective as an overseas territory, we should be allowing them the right to vote. And if that's what you're saying, let's get the challenge going right now. If that's not what you're saying, don't say anything, because it's very sensitive to our people. We're trying to protect ourselves right now, where the government's mandate, second on the list, is immigration reform. And it's been a campaign for everybody. So I totally understand where she comes from, and I support her, and I am uncomfortable with it. Matter of fact, I'm going to do a debrief report myself as a member of the opposition of how uncomfortable I felt about that. Because this is the third time now, 3 elections that I've been a part of, that the observers have said the same thing. And sometimes they will draw you to a conclusion only to say, is there an agenda? And maybe there is, they won't say it, I don't know. But don't say it if you don't have a legal basis for saying it. And if so, let the governor and the Foreign Office come to the Cayman people so we can make the challenge start from right now. Sorry, so that's my viewpoint on that.
Before you go, MP, when we've had 3 missions now, 2013, 2017, 2021, 4, and this last one, and we're awaiting the final report. If you look at all of those reports,
they all say the same thing,
right? But none refers to the previous one, because they're all independent. They make their own observations. It is not a continuation of one report, moving on to the other to see what steps have been taken during that period. They report on what they see on the ground as far as the procedures, the process, the legislation that is in place, and everything else. And again, measured against international standards. What they say, they make quite clear that there are recommendations. Notice their recommendations. They don't say, well, if you don't do this, then we're going to go off to the mother country and tell them that you need to do this and you need to do that. Purely recommendations. And like I said earlier, I was skeptical about observer missions coming to the Cayman Islands, as well. And now I understand, what it is all about.
By all means, I'm not skeptical of them.
MP, let me just ask you this now. One of the things that they say that's unreasonable is that a Caymanian who is abroad, it says he has to be. You have to be in the island 7 years prior to nomination day. You don't think that's onerous? Why should I have to be? Why should I have to be here 7 years? I'm a Caymanian. I got a Caymanian passport. I got a Caymanian parents. I got a Caymanian grandfather and grandmother. Why should I have to be in Cayman 7 years prior to nomination day before I can vote?
Well, I'll be happy to answer that when I come on Friday, and I'm not going to sway from the point. From what OC was saying, sorry, Dr. McField, I'm not going to answer unless I'm prepared to answer it correctly. The concern that you had about OC in respect to saying they're all independent, that's fine, and they can all come to the same conclusion independently of each other. I'm not suggesting that they read previous reports and just repeated what somebody else said. But that means to tell me that they don't quite understand the relationship issue that we have in the Cayman Islands. And when we say international expectations and standards, international to whom? to the United Kingdom in the United States.
To the United Nations and to all the
to declarations that we are signatories to. Yeah.
Correct. But that's not all countries that are adhering to exactly that. Matter of fact, the UK themselves are having similar problems right now. So at the end of the day, regardless if they come to that conclusion or not, and they can make their recommendation, there's a level of sensitivity that maybe it's something for us to actually look at and say, listen, let's just deal with this matter now so they can stop talking about it, because it's insulting to us to suggest that.
I don't think that they have come to conclusions either. They have their observations. Remember, they're observers, so they make observations.
Yes.
Well, regardless if you observe that, I'm a black man and I shouldn't get anything, it doesn't matter what your recommendation or observation, bringing the factor up.
No, you mix two things there: a black man and shouldn't get anything. One is an observation. One is an opinion.
Yes.
They're observing and making a suggestion, right? So, what is the difference between the two? I'm observing that maybe you should consider this, or it's going to be in your final recommendation. Why bring it up if it's not something that you think should be addressed?
I don't think that's a fair comparison.
I don't think that's a simple that's a simple.
What's the purpose of observing it then?
An observer?
Tell me. Well, no, not the purpose of an observer. What's the point of bringing up the topic? Period.
Well, you come and observe and you report what you saw.
You say what you observe.
You say what you observe.
And then and in addition to that, then you're allowed to make recommendations that you can ignore or you can accept.
Exactly.
So you're just bringing it up just to say,
no. Come on, that is simplifying it, Member of Parliament. That is simplifying it.
We made the Boundary Commission observe. They've made reports, and you ignored them too. You didn't take the recommendations. It's the same thing. You don't have to take the recommendations if you don't want to, but there are consequences if you don't.
Recommendations. The key difference you just said there is recommendations, not observations. So if they're not going to put it as a recommendation,
semantics.
Exactly my point. Semantics. So one and the same. Why bring it up if it's not an issue? Why observe it or just highlight it? I'm waiting to see if it's going to be in the recommendation or not. I slightly doubt it will be. But if it's not in your recommendation, why bring it up?
I don't know why there's this sudden stuff about the observers when they haven't done anything to harm us. All they're saying, this is what we observe in your country, and this is what we think.
The reason why it's upsetting or why people are talking about it is because, yet again, the same thing that we're talking about in immigration matters, they're brought up by saying that people who don't have status in Cayman or born Caymanians should have a right to have their say. Let me tell you something. Any day that happens, you've acknowledged it yourself, both of you, or say as well as Mr. McField, that any day that happens, Cayman non-existent anymore. There'll be a rock in the Caribbean, but it won't be called Cayman, because all of our cultural heritage and everything that we know will be gone.
They didn't say that anyone who doesn't. They did not say that anyone who doesn't have Cayman status could run for elections. They did not say that.
Okay, I'm not talking about running for office. I'm talking about voting.
Okay.
I'm talking about voting. So, in my humble opinion, whether you can vote or run for office, one and the same.
And they did not say that. And they did not say anyone who doesn't have Caymanian status should run for office, could vote. Could be an elector either. They are saying that the time that they have allowed in the Constitution of about 400 days and 70 years is onerous.
So are you suggesting that they did not say that people who are permanent residents here should be able to vote?
No, they did not say that.
Not in this.
Not in this one.
Okay, well, let's examine this on Friday when I can bring exactly what they said at the press conference, because ultimately that's what the people are talking about. That notion that was brought to bear by the public as to say that they can not run for office, can vote in the Cayman Islands.
Okay, the press briefing and what is in the in their preliminary statement, completely different. Completely
yes.
different. Two different occasions where at the press briefing, certain questions were raised by reporters.
Yes.
Completely different from the statement that is here. We have to separate the two. We have to separate the two. Because on Friday, I think it might have been the Monday afterwards, I opined on what was said at that press briefing, and I even pointed out the various changes that we have made over the years to our Constitution, and every time from the 1985, every time those amendments to our Constitution in relation to qualification as an elector and qualification to run for office, that we have made it more and more difficult for non-Caymanians to do that. And I would oppose anything other than that. I was commenting on what was said also at the press briefing. What we're dealing with now, we're dealing with the preliminary statement that was made there.
And in ink, in paper.
I think that's where the mishap is happening, right? Which is fine. But in my point of view here, and I can't speak for the other callers, but I can make an assumption that they're one and the same. If I make a statement on radio or if I send it in a press release or in a report, you're still held to account because the source of the information and the content comes from the individuals who has the authority. Right now, we have observers who are making
But they were responding to a question.
Yes.
Well, regardless if you're responding to a question or not, if you're going to make an observation to say such thing, you're an authority, you're an observer coming to the Cayman Islands. If you're up on a platform and somebody asks you a question, you said, well, the fact that permanent residents don't have the right to vote is something that needs to be considered. That's just as good as you putting it down in the paper.
Not really.
Well, we have to look and see whether or not that it needs to be considered.
Yes,
we need to look at the wording, of that, and don't forget also that the Foreign Affairs committee in the UK. And their comments that they have made on that as well, and I brought that to people's attention and say it's something that the pressure is going to come, from all directions in relation to that. Anyway, thank you very much, MP. You have enough to prepare for when when we arrange for you to come on as well, folks. We have to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite band-aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. Don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We still have callers on hold. No call. Okay, Doc, right off the air just now, we were talking. People need to understand the context within which our elections law, as well as the amendments to our Constitution, there was a time when we got very little pushback from the UK in relation to amendments to our Constitution, even though those amendments in the early stages were very small. Like I said earlier, they related to qualification to vote and qualifications to hold elected office. In Cayman, there was a mentality at a point in time when our elected officials, our government felt that you went as a Caymanian and you lived somewhere else, or you were born somewhere else, and then you want to come back to Cayman and tell us what to do and to run for political office, we're going to restrict you. We're going to hold you to account. We're going to let you wait, let you stew, in the sauce a little bit before you allow that. Those were the reasons why they put in those, 2 years and 7 year restrictions and the amount of time that you can be, off the island and stuff like that. That's what it was intended for.
Yes.
Do we want to continue down that path?
Yeah. Why should I have to be in Cayman for 7 years? If I'm a Caymanian, born in Cayman, with parents in Caymanian, why should I have to be here for 7 years before nomination day before I can vote?
Mm-hmm.
And if I do leave, I can't stay out more than 400 days in the 7 years that I was there.
Yeah,
that I've been abroad.
And you better have a counter with you to make sure that that you land back, before that period of time.
That's right. That's right.
So, Doc, let's switch gears and go to one of the topics that we know that you are have been closely involved with and expert on it as well. So, if we look at the that screen, is the screen still up in relation to that?
Yes.
Okay. Recommendations. This is the 2013 election observer report.
Yes.
Go ahead. You can read it in relation to equal suffrage.
Okay. Whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay. The recommendations are, it says, in order to improve future electoral process in the Cayman Islands, the EOM would observer mission would like to offer for consideration the following recommendation. Now, this
take a pause there for a second. Notice what that phrase says. We would like to offer
for consideration the following recommendations.
Not pushing anything down anybody's throat.
Exactly. Equal suffrage. The equal suffrage principle of one person, one vote, or equal number of votes, could be achieved by introducing an electoral system with single-member constituencies or multi-member constituencies with equal number of elected members of the Legislative Assembly. The newly defined constituencies could contain, as far as possible and practical, the same number of inhabitants and registered electors.
Okay.
We did that.
Right. And the phrase there that I want you to focus on, talk about by introducing an electoral system with single-member constituencies or multi-member constituencies with equal. But the whole point of the equal suffrage principle, one person, one vote, was fundamental in that whole thing.
That's right.
Right. Okay.
And the second thing they said, right to vote. Reducing the required period of residency in the Cayman Islands prior to the registration as an elector could increase the number of registered electors and enhance overall inclusiveness of the election process.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they are not talking down here now about people who are not Caymanians.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They're talking about the residency requirement to vote for nomination day.
Right. So first of all, you have to have that right to vote. Otherwise, this is not applicable to you.
Yes. And then they went on to say, the right to stand for elections, reducing the required period of residency of candidates in the Cayman Islands prior to the date of nomination would open up the universal right to stand for elective office to a larger number of otherwise qualified citizens. A clear legal definition of his or her own act in relation to other citizenship could bring more clarity for the elections office when deciding on eligibility of candidates, as well as for potential candidates when deciding whether to contest elections.
And that remember
now.
That last paragraph, you were involved in a court,
yes,
very consequential court case in relation.
Yes,
to
remember now. It is still illegal for you to hold office if you owe allegiance or obedience to a foreign country or state. In other words, if you have dual citizenship, and you owe allegiance and obedience to a foreign country or state, you still cannot you cannot stand for election in Parliament. Okay? And then it goes on to say, establishing an independent election management body with independent budgetary financing could further increase the public confidence in the election process. A broad public and political consensus would be needed to define the qualification criteria, selection process, and terms of reference for the members of such independent body. In other words, an independent election management body, not just what Mr. Wester Howell does, but an independent election management body. And they go on to say voter and civic education. A comprehensive and effective voter and civic education program carried out well in advance of any electoral event would ensure that all citizens are informed about all necessary elements of the election process, starting from registration of electors to the precise location of polling stations and voting modalities. And then it goes on to say campaign financing. The existing provisions of the election law would be reviewed in order to ensure meaningful scrutiny of campaign expenses declared by the candidates. Such a review could also reassess the current level of limits for campaign finance expenses and clarify the definition of election expenses, particularly regarding the prepaid services and goods used during the campaign period. Clearly define realistic and enforceable campaign financing rules could reduce the role of money in elections and politics in general. And then treating electors. The existing provisions in the election law which forbid candidates to provide any food or drink at the campaign meetings could be reviewed in order to allow candidates to offer reasonable refreshments for the campaign meeting participants. And then it goes on to say media regulations. The election process could benefit from establishing the rules of conduct of public and private media during the election campaign period. Such rules and guarantees equitable access to the media for all contestant candidates, and particularly in case of public broadcasters. A media monitoring mechanism could be established to monitor whether media outlets adheres to the rules. And then it says secret of the vote. An amendment to the election law to remove the requirement that ballot papers contain serial numbers would guarantee the right to vote in secret. Alternative means of protecting the integrity of the ballot such as the use of barcodes or embossing techniques, could be explored instead.
And that's one recommendation that we still have not accepted, despite the fact that we have persons like Mr. Bill Adam, who advocate for the removal of that, that serial number on there. And as we improve the system, we see less and less need for it. So that is something that needs to be taken seriously.
And they will not say voter identification. They say remove the requirements for voters to state their occupation when presenting themselves to vote. Could avoid demeaning situations in the case of some voters.
One of those that I disagree with, because I had some comments when I shared this, on Friday as well. Irrespective of whatever your occupation is, you're not ashamed of the work. The work
to be a domestic servant or a laborer,
right, or whatever.
Or
you're not ashamed of that. Yep. I think we can cover one more before we go to our last commercial break.
Assistant voting. The elections law could reflect the practice established by the elections office that any person friend can assist only one voter in marking the ballot paper. Secrecy of assisted voting could be increased if the process takes place behind the voting screen in a polling booth.
And we know one district was very infamous for having this person who's a multiple, friend to multiple voters as well, going in and monitoring. So that was changed as well. One more before we go, mobile voting.
And then mobile voting. The elections office could consider the introduction of mobile voting for those electors who were hospitalized in medical and social care facilities after the deadline for application for mobile voting. At present, such voters were disenfranchised.
Another recommendation that was considered and accepted and implemented as well. We have to take a commercial break. We're going to take our last commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
You heard that the VEG program taking applications again? What that is? VEG, man! The Minister of Tourism's program that helping Caymanians create new tourism products and services.
Oh, I had heard about that, yeah. My friend was one of the successful applicants from the last round. I might apply for that still.
Nothing wrong, child. After you got great ideas for things tourists would love to buy, try so check out the website rcayman.ky/VEDGP for more information and apply.
I going to do that right now.
With Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're in the last leg of the show. We're going to close off the phone lines. I want to thank all of those callers who participated this morning. At times it has been quite lively, but, sometimes we try to push together points across as well. But we welcome it because it helps to create a better understanding for all of us, as well. So a couple more recommendations in the 2013 Election Observer Mission Report.
This last one now.
Postal voting?
We did that already.
We did postal voting?
Yes.
Okay. I thought we did mobile.
Yeah, and postal voting. The elections office together with the Postmaster General could examine all currently available options for sending the postal ballot in order to ensure that as far as possible all postal ballots are delivered to the electors and subsequent to the returning officers in a timed manner.
And we have moved on now,
Yes.
where we now use courier services,
Courier
as well
services to that.
for that. Because at a point in time, we used registered mail.
Yes, and send
because
it
it was
back.
more secure, but it was slower than actual regular mail.
Yes, and we send it back to one person.
Yes,
usually
yeah. Mhm.
one of the members of the legislature who would collect it on behalf of a lot of people in the old days.
Yeah, the postal. Yes. Mhm.
And then the last one, domestic observers. Establishing an institute of domestic observers, independent
It should be. It says form there, but it should be from
the elections office, with clearly defined rights, responsibilities, and accreditation requirements in the elections law, would increase the public oversight and confidence in the election process.
Right.
So that's why you have the election observers to give confidence into the election process.
And we should bear in mind that our own supervisor of elections there, Mr. Wesley Howell, has participated in
in
observer
elections
mission
in
as
other
well.
jurisdictions.
Yes. So, Doc, I want to go back now to the recommendation in relation to equal suffrage, right?
Yes.
So they talk about says equal suffrage, the equal suffrage principle of one person, one vote, or equal numbers of votes could be achieved by introducing an electoral system with single-member constituencies or multi-member constituencies with equal number of elected members of the Legislative Assembly. Isn't it then possible, when we look at the smaller districts with a small number of voters, East End and North Side, wouldn't it have also been possible then to make every constituency equal or near equal the size of each of those, which would mean that instead of having 19 constituencies, we may end up with 38 constituencies.
Yes.
Because you could get the equal numbers
Yes.
that way. We're always thinking in terms of reaching the 1,700 or whatever that we have in the largest one, but you could also, let's compare the smaller ones and let's get everyone. Of course, or people in the Cayman Islands, we already complain that we have too many parliamentarians, but yet we see there's a squeeze and we see the load that is placed on members of executive of cabinet now in terms of the subjects and the portfolios.
8 cabinet out of 11.
Yeah.
8 people, the premier and 7 ministers.
And there is certainly justification for increasing that number, as well. And then you don't have, members of parliament having multiple roles, because you have some now who are parliamentary secretaries and they're going to end up sitting on particular committees and stuff like that. If you had a larger membership in parliament, you have much more flexibility. You also have the opportunity to having a much larger backbench, and we don't end up in these situations where we continue to have coalition governments. One of our, I think it was Mr. Arden McLean pointed out that we need to now look at our constitution to probably make provisions more and more for coalition governments, because in the last 3 administrations that we've had, that's what we've had, coalition government. So it seems as if because of the system that we have in place, because of the numbers that we have, we're getting more and more coalition governments. Is that what we need? Do we need to be like an Italy or a Germany or a Greece, where, at times there was so much instability because of the difficulty in forming a government?
No, that goes against the Westminster system of governance.
Yeah.
And the problem that we have is that when we recommended a few more parliamentarians, people say, "Oh, we can't afford to pay the salaries for those people, and we don't need them." And then I was surprised, though, that I'm not surprised at what the recommendations are or what the observers saw when they came, that we still have the two constituencies, the East End and the North Side constituency, with half the amount of voters in those constituencies than we have in, like they were saying, in Bordentown West, Bordentown East. And they had a window to bring the amendments that were needed to the Constitution to allow that to continue. Because remember now, our recommendations were given in July 2023, and the election was in 2025. Right. So they had time to, because I think that was just only a minor amendment. That was not a major amendment, a minor amendment, like what Kim and Bragg did. When
carve out in the Constitution.
Carve out in the Constitution, so that would be put to rest. You wouldn't have to be bothered with that again. Right.
And then you could concentrate on the other 15.
On the other 15, yes. But they didn't do that. And so now they're saying, how can you say you have a democratic process when it takes 1,700, 1,800 to get elected in one constituency, and it only takes 400 or 500 to get elected in any other constituency?
Yes.
And there's no constitutional coverage for that. That's a problem that is continuing, and they say that, and they're saying that there needs to be taken care of, and that's what we were saying. Stop kicking the can down the road. Let's finish it. Let's do it now and finish that. So I hope that the new government looks at it, and if they are going to upset the old order, so be it, because the old order has not benefited us in a meaningful, successful way in some places. And so what we need to do now is that we need to get it right and move on.
I've been asked to explain why there are empty ballot boxes, at the end of the count. Just to get back to this question of the empty ballot box that was, found at was it Prospect or Red Bay? I'm not. I think about the Prospect. So when the postal ballots are received, the returning officer, on receipt of those postal ballots, will put them all in a seal ballot box. At the start of the count, they have to process those postal ballots first. They have to sort them out. When they empty that box that contains all of the postal ballots, so you have an empty box at that point in time, they then do the processing so that they end up with just a ballot paper, and that ballot paper is put in another box. So you still have an empty ballot box there. That's how you end up with an empty ballot box at the end of the day.
Because the postal ballots is mixed with all the other ballots.
Right.
And the box that you put them in when they come in now becomes empty.
Yeah. Now the caller's question in relation to a number one ballot box. That part I'm not familiar with. I'm not sure about that. But I do know that you're going to end up with an empty ballot box. As well. For that purpose. Yeah. The other question that I had, that not a question but an observation, is that when you have because we had a referendum, and we included all of the referendum questions on one ballot paper. If we had done otherwise, it meant that the supervisor of elections would have had to have multiple ballot boxes. And there was a time, even when we were conducting the referendum, that we had a difficult time getting additional ballot boxes because you have to order them, in advance. And there are many countries that are conducting elections during the year, and they also purchase those ballot boxes. Which reminds me to the days when we first started, when Mr. Colonel Gomez recruited me, to work with him in the elections office. Was that we made our ballot boxes. We had Public Works make them out of 3/4 inch plywood.
Wow,
Doc.
wow.
They were heavy. They were heavy. Now, they use aluminum, for them. But it would have meant multiple ballot boxes that would have been necessary.
You would have at least 3 ballot boxes in the same.
Right. Yeah.
In the same voting station.
Yeah. Quite an undertaking, as well. But again, we're going to have the little twerks here and there, but we should be proud of ourselves here in Cayman.
So what do you think about electrical voting?
I think that the argument that we have used in the past about the fact that people enjoy, sitting and counting and waiting for the count, I think we've gone past that now. People, the earlier that you can get clarity to a situation, to the results, rather than having to wait until midnight or after midnight, the better it is. As long as people are happy with the process, the whole procedure, I think we have to weigh it against the fact that we have 25,600 and something voters. Do we really need to have electronic counting, for that small number of voters?
So what about the 5,000 people so they didn't vote? I 73 point something %.
I actually had predicted that we would see a larger voter turnout, and unfortunately we didn't. I think the addition of a referendum question may have impacted and influenced that. And one caller or a writer made the observation that we still aren't able to, because of the fact that there was no preparation on the ballot paper in relation to the referendum question and the ballot paper itself. We don't know how many people voted only for the referendum and not for candidates. Very difficult, to tell that as well.
But, and lastly, what do you think about the recommendation? What do you think about what they said about what's that last one? I can't remember that one now. But there's a comment about
Okay, we'll if you
we'll get it the next time.
Yeah, if you don't find it, we'll get it the next time. Doc, I want to thank you very much for being here. As usual, when you're in the studio, things get really lively. Lots of questions come in, lots of calls as well. Like I said, by popular demand, we have to have you on the show as well. We want to thank all of those callers who called in. Thanks for the very constructive, lively and constructive discussions that we've had. Unfortunately, they all have to be abbreviated simply because we only have so much time, as well. I want to remind all of you that we are our brothers and our sisters keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling, Dwayne Ebanks. Join Mr. Charles Gliding, Charlo, at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these 3 beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury, and JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice. And the Cayman Islands National Museum. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture.
We are Radio Cayman,
covering Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and Grand Cayman.
One in